Call the plumber.
Oh, stop freaking. I'll call Beacon.
Beacons is the company you can rely on. Once you call them, you'll never, ever call anyone else.
Next time you have a plumbing problem, don't start freaking. Call Beacon Plumbing.
Congrats! You're officially a Ford owner.
Oh.
Lasers or confetti?
Confetti?
Boom!
What if I said lasers?
Sure. I mean, you'll sign a waiver, right? The summer sales event is on now at your local Ford store. From the fuel-efficient 2015 Fusion to the versatile 2015 Escape, for a limited time, get a scorching hot deal on the perfect Ford for you. Now get 0% financing for 72 months, or lease an all-wheel drive Fusion or four-wheel drive Escape for just $209 a month. Visit your local Ford store today.
I love it when they choose confetti.
Kubota tractor and excavator buyers, take home a new BX25 backhoe for only $15,999, or save $10,000 on a new KX040 excavator. Plus, get instant Kubota financing, Kitsap tractor and equipment. Why pay more?
Tacoma, Seattle, and Everett want to remind you to please wash only full loads of laundry and dishes. For more tips, go to savingwater.org.
Here is the high shot, as we like to call it, high above Stan Sayers pits. Those cranes actually lift these boats out into the water and bring them up and put them on the trailers. Just part of the excitement. That's a little city you're looking at right there, the pit area. We've just been told by the officials we have a 5-minute delay before we get started in our countdown to Heat 2B. Part of that is probably checking the race course to make sure all those buoys are still in place, because Jean Thierret in Heat 2A just blasted a couple of them.
He did. One of them, the first one he hit, that little green one, it stayed inflated during the race, but it ultimately went down. So that's one buoy. Then he hit the big red buoy, Mark, that we saw him destroy. But he also got a fine for going through the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone, which is what got him in trouble last week.
Yeah.
So he's really struggling.
That area is where the patrol boats, the safety boats, are all stationed, and they stay there, so everybody knows where they are. There are 3 of them on this race course. One just right at the start-finish line on the inside of the race course, and then in the 2 turns. And you have to stay out of those with your race boat. It could be a very, very serious safety problem if you don't.
And it looks like, why would you hit a buoy? You know, there's plenty. But it's like being an Indian football or a hockey player. His focus probably was on the boat. He was probably looking at Jimmy Shane, where's my competition, whoever was next to him. And he lost where that buoy was in his head for just a moment. It's like losing where that defender is. You know, you've got to keep everything in your perspective.
And one thing, as we talked about during the break, that we know about Jean Thierret, and I'm going to bring Alexis Smith in the pits back into this conversation. He is a very focused and determined driver, and Alexis, a little bit short with some of his answers. He's, again, not happy with what's going on out there.
Yeah, he's really not. Pretty big difference between Heat 1 and Heat 2. I know that they weren't happy with the way things ended up after Heat 1 yesterday, but I think they were still pretty confident. They've got such a fast boat, and they had a good run last weekend, too. Now, you've got the lane violation, which took away the win last weekend. Then you don't have the win in the first heat, and then you have the buoy situation in the second heat today. They were visibly rattled, and I'm not going to lie, I was standing on the dock with the crew. They weren't happy either. We saw some really long faces over there. It looks like at least the first half of this weekend is a pretty big disappointment to them.
Well, but you know, he can still come back and win the Cup at the end of the day. He won, remember, Seafair back in 05 and 06, did Jean Thierret, so he can still come back and do that. Meantime, Jimmy Shane is looking to continue his run, and he is on a good one, Chris Francis.
And, you know, you're talking about that race. Jimmy Shane sure is on a good run. In fact, I talked to Larry Alberto, and he says the guy is just learning all the time about how to race, and you saw that in that heat. Don't think for a moment that they did not know that the 96 couldn't corner as well as all these other boats. In fact, you could see that in the first heat yesterday when we saw that. The 96 had great straightaway speed, couldn't corner. So Jimmy Shane had that outside, kept the 96 sort of pinned, and Jean Thierret had no recourse but to let off the gas in the turns, so there was no way he could get around Jimmy Shane. And once that start happened and Jimmy Shane jumped out in front, it was pretty much over. And that's kind of the plan they had going into it. In this next race, we're going to see J. Michael Kelly, and I'll be talking about him. And he drove a great race in the first heat, did the same kind of thing to the 96. So they're kind of ganging up on Jean Theoret here, who supposedly had the fastest boat with the fastest qualifying time. But it's very interesting to see how these drivers are sort of reacting to that as they go out in these heat races.
That's a good point, Chris, that you make. The fastest boat in the field after qualifying, and they've now, as we're looking at live pictures from Chopper 7, they're trying to reset this buoy before we can continue racing. But from a driver's perspective, Chip, you've been there. Does this play with your mind?
Big time. And believe it or not, boat racing or racing is like being a doctor. The Hippocanthic oath, first do no damage. So you've got the guy with the fastest boat, and here 2 weeks in a row, he's done a lot of damage. And if you've got a third place boat, your first job as a driver is to get the third place. If there's a little more, you get it. But first, do no damage. John Theoret, he's done a lot of damage.
Mark, you've been around this race course so many years now watching. When these buoys get dislodged, what's it take to put them back in place?
Well, we've been watching the patrol boat out there with the divers, and these people are all, we talked about volunteers earlier, these people are all volunteers who are out here doing this. The divers, there's an anchor for those things. They've got the buoys inflated, they've got extra ones in the pits, so if one gets destroyed, they can bring them out pretty quickly. And yeah, there's the
frogmen in the water right now.
You got a diver there. So he'll go down. There's a hook and a pin underneath it. About 10 feet down, there's basically a jug, water jug that floats, and that keeps the hook up. And they go down and hook those buoys in pretty quickly.
Now, we also found out, besides the penalties he got on the race course, it's kind of expensive to hit buoys.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
So they continue their work.
Know that?
Yeah. as only Chip could know. We continue to watch as they fix the buoys. The boats are being prepared in the pits as we get set for Heat 2B of Unlimited Racing, the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, when we come back.
Watching the 2015 Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup, presented by Ford of Kirkland, your official dealer of Seafair on Cairo 7.
The Buttery Jack was a huge success. People went crazy for a burger with melted garlic herb butter. Now, here's the sequel with portobello mushrooms. Boom! Hang on, I don't want anyone to trip. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's Jack's new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack, the sequel to the classic, and bacon and Swiss, topped with the same melted garlic herb butter plus portobello mushrooms and grilled onions. Spoiler alert, it's awesome.
Go beast mode on your plumbing problems.
Here's the problem right here. What's next?
I think we're gonna have to take the whole toilet out.
Got it. What's next? You all good here?
So, go beast mode and
Hey, wait. Stop freaking. Call Beacon.
Jesse Jones, on your side as you ran into serious problems with the Good to Go system. From pushing the state to close privacy gaps,
you were vulnerable until now,
to making sure you're not stuck with tolling fees that are not your fault.
Jesse Jones broke the story.
Good to Go is wiping the slate clean.
Jesse Jones has got your back.
We're going to take a look at each and every one of these cases to make sure that WSDOT does exactly what it says it's going to do.
Watch Jesse Jones on his new home, Cairo 7 Eyewitness News.
Every bottle of Ken's dressing is a painstakingly crafted one-way ticket out of Blandsville. Ken's, fanatical about flavor.
When you have big plumbing problems, call day or night.
Lynch, we've got another one. Repeat customer.
I'm on my way.
Call Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical for 24/7 same-day service.
Oh, thank you so much. Come on in.
Look at this mess you done made.
Thank you, Beast. Oh, this is amazing.
For all your plumbing, heating, sewer, and electrical needs 24/7, call Sienna's winning team and go beast mode on your plumbing problems.
Hey, wait. Stop freaking. Call Beacon.
Your dreams evolve, and with committed support, they thrive. American Family Insurance.
Ken's dressing is crafted to make anything taste better. So chin up, cauliflower. We'll make a star out of you yet. Ken's, fanatical about flavor.
You know, it's so beautiful and so much fun out here. It's easy to forget that this actually takes a lot of work and a lot of support. And that's why our guests right here are with us right now. Amy and Jim Wallen of Ford and Hyundai Kirkland. Thank you for joining us. You are sponsors. We've seen you throughout the whole Seafair experience. A lot of support from y'all. Why do you decide to get involved?
We think that our signature event is Seafair every year. It's a huge celebration of where we live. We're so fortunate. Look at this beautiful day, and that's why we want to be associated with Seafair.
I'm going to tee one up for Jim here. Jim, no place you'd rather be on Seafair Sunday than here,
Steve,
perhaps except for...
that's a softball. I was saying on my Facebook page, somebody said that the best place on earth with the boats and the planes and the water and so forth is Seafair. Best place to be this time of year. I'd say the second best place would be Ford Hyundai of Kirkland. We've got our summer clearance sale, over 1,000 new Fords and new Hyundais, and that would be the second place to be this weekend.
Oh boy, he just hit it out of the park with softball, huh? So you have been involved for many years. What is your favorite thing to come out here and see and do and experience?
I think that Sunday's my favorite day to be at Seafair. It's a huge party. Everybody in the Northwest is here. It's always a beautiful day. It's just an exciting time to be in Seattle.
The boats at the log boom. I don't know. Is it the races? Is it
Blue Angels?
The Blue Angels. All the other planes. Is it all the people that get out? Is it the great weather? The lake, I don't know. It's just a fantastic.
It's our hometown
it's a great
party.
place.
That's right.
And maybe the best part of it all is that it brings community together as it does every year. We all like that, right?
It's our signature event to be here the first weekend of August. There's no better place to be, I think.
All right. Thank you for your support. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back out to the water now. Heat 2B of Unlimited Racing for the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. And here are the boats in Heat 2B. Les Schwab Team Red Dot Boat, Graham Trucking, Dalton Industries, Miss Home Street Bank, Boitano Homes, and Miss DiGiulio. The Unlimited Racing boats in Heat 2B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup.
Heat 2B of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup is presented by Mila and is presented for Seafair by Fox Plumbing and Heating.
And after a bit of a delay getting the buoys reset, we have 3.5 minutes before we go race time. By the way, clock brought to you by J.P. Morgan Chase, proud sponsor of Seafair. Chase, making it easy for your personal and business banking needs to start and run strong. Continue to watch the winds, about 5 miles an hour, so not too bad. And the temperature's creeping up now, getting close to 80 degrees. Here are the drivers in Heat 2B, starting with Scott Litticoat in the 9 boat. J. Michael Kelly is at the controls of the Graham Trucking boat, and Cal Phipps in the Dalton Industries ride. Chris Francis standing by in the J. Michael pits.
Yeah, Steve, J. Michael actually has the benefit of his teammate, Graham Trucking teammate, Jesse Robertson, who was just out on the water in that last heat. And Jesse was telling J. Michael about the wind down the backstretch, and that is a very key component of these races, the wind and how it blows. And so he's got a little insider knowledge of how the course is setting up. He also has a new engine in that boat, which helped him win the first heat he ran in, which was yesterday. So they are running fast and ready to go.
Here are the rest of the drivers in 2B. Jimmy King, Mike Webster, and Dave Warren. Jimmy King, Alexis, the only piston-powered boat in the field, and a great job he did yesterday.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to send the message, hey, don't count out the piston-powered boat. These guys are contenders here, Seafair weekend. Talked to a lot of the guys on the crew here beside me. They're feeling pretty confident over here. They've adopted the attitude, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they say the changes, the modifications have been pretty minimal from the great run they had in Heat 1, and they're looking to win again today in the second heat.
Speaking of broke, all of the teams have been notified that one of the buoys out of position on the backstretch, so be careful out there, but they're all aware of it. It's time to go racing. We're live around the world on KairoTV.com. Here, the voice of unlimited hydroplane racing, Mark Allen.
Thank you, Steve. 1:41 seconds on our J.P. Morgan Chase clock. It's not exactly the official clock, but it is very, very close for our references. That's all we need. We've got boats all over the race course, as we usually do about this time before our start. A little less than a minute and a half. We've got people who are cutting through the infield, Chip, and following each other around. You've seen some of the shadowing in the past, and that's actually pretty fun to watch.
And there's a lot of tough guys in this heat. You know, Scott Lidico, Cal Phipps, they should go toe-to-toe. Jimmy King in that piston boat, he can win outright. He doesn't need people to jump gun or hit boost. He can beat these turbines outright with a 1930s vintage turbocharged engine.
And we have two of the heat winners from yesterday in Heat 1, the red boats, Jimmy King and J. Michael Kelly. And they are side by side going up the backstretch right now. You're looking at how they're forming up, and Scott Lidicote he is really pinched off. It looks like I think that's J. Michael Kelly, but
yeah, you know, it's funny.
No, it was Jimmy King.
Is that Jimmy King on the inside?
Yep.
Okay, so then we got J. Michael Kelly, it looks like, out in lane 4. These guys want the inside. Every heat is like the final. They're all fighting for the inside.
One of the things that the piston boat, Jimmy King's Home Street Bank boat, can do very well is run fast and run for the inside lane. He doesn't like to have to go slow and slow. That boat just can't do that. But he has the inside lane. It looks like
they're early, Mark. Yeah. They look like they're really early.
Yeah, and Jimmy is slowed way down. Cal Phipps in the Dalton boat is in lane 2, and then it's Scott Lidicote.
And we can hear that Turbo Allison popping.
1.
And it looks like Cal Phipps got either a perfect start or he was a little bit over.
Yep, and Jimmy King on the inside. Cal Phipps leaving him just that one lane, and Jimmy got some water as he went through, but he's okay. Scott Lidicote out in lane 3. J. Michael Kelly in lane number 4. But look who's out in front. It's Cal Phipps in that Dalton Industries, the U-27, with those orange sponsons, and he is just walking away from everybody.
And I tell you what, I hope that he's legal. It was real close. Maybe we can take another look at that start. It was close. If he is legal, this is really neat to see the Wiggins family and these guys out in front. They just took delivery of this boat in March, I think. They're doing great.
Coming off the north turn, Jimmy King now has dropped back a little bit. You've got 3 boats behind him. It looks like Jimmy went below 80 miles an hour. We could see he had to slow down going to the start, so now he can either take a 1-lap penalty or a 1-minute penalty, and we'll see what he chooses to do. But he is lagging back as Cal Phipps has taken the lead, and we thought it was a close start. It is a clean start, Chip.
Okay, that's Cal. That was a beautiful start. Cal Phipps, he's from Detroit. He's been around racing his whole life, and he just showed what he's made of it by getting a start like that.
Now you've got 3 boats side by side going up the backstretch. Jimmy King is on the inside. That's Scott Lidicote in the middle, and J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking 2. But your leader is Cal Phipps at the apex of the north turn, and he is really rolling. He comes off the turn, comes down to complete this lap.
As Alexis told us, Cal Phipps drove for the Wiggins family back in the 80s. This group has been together for decades, and you're seeing the result of that great relationship now. That boat's going good. That driver made a perfect start. These guys are going to be contenders all day.
Leading him into the south turn, you can hear the popping of that Allison engine on the U3, the Miss Home Street Bank, driven by Jimmy King, who's not going to be in contention because of a penalty. So J. Michael Kelly is now the one who's out to chase Cal Phipps, but he's got a long ways to go. Your leader halfway up the backstretch in the Dalton Industries U-27 is Cal Phipps. Back to second place, you see J. Michael Kelly on the outside. He turns left about 3 seconds after Cal Phipps, so he's got a long ways to go.
Hey, Mark or Steve, has anybody seen Nate Brown in the pits of the Dalton boat? Because this was Nate Brown's boat. You must remember it from a few years ago. He was in Tri-Cities helping him. I don't know if he's here helping or not.
Have not seen him so far in the pit area, but we've got Cal Phipps across the line. J. Michael Kelly.
That's huge. You're going to see one happy driver and one happy Wiggins family.
So with a penalty on the 3, the home street bank, third across the line is going to be Scott Liddycoat in the 9, the Les Schwab boat, and fourth across the line, as you see him coming down the front straightaway and heading to the south turn again, will be Mike Webster in the 22, and ringing up the rear is Dave Warren. He's going to be a tired guy in that DiGiulio. He's been driving Grand Prix all weekend and driving Unlimiteds all weekend. It's not unheard of, but Dave's going to be needing a little, maybe a little massage or something by the end of the weekend.
Well, I'll send Steve down to take care of that.
Thanks so much.
You know, I think maybe the U3 with the piston boat, I think they got under 80 miles an hour because they were having engine problems. Yeah. I think that engine stalled, and that's why he got that penalty.
So Cal Phipps has picked up 400 points for first place finish.
Such a story. They bought this boat from Nate Brown. It was a good boat, but it wasn't a great boat. They showed up. The Wiggins family is new to unlimited hydroplane racing. They showed up in Tri-Cities last week and just put on a jaw-dropping performance. And then to come out here and do this, they're sending a signal that you're going to have to race us heads up.
We talked about this being anybody's boat race, pretty much. 5 or 6 boats here, and what happens in each heat? A little bit of a difference here, a little bit of a difference with Jimmy King. He had just a little bit of a problem. We thought maybe he might be one of the contenders here for this heat.
Alexis is in the pits right now with Nate Brown. You were just talking about that. Watched his boat win a heat here at Seafair. Alexis?
Yeah, we just pulled Nate over right now. He's got a big smile on his face. How does it feel to watch your old boat just win that heat?
You know, it's fun being a crew guy and being just a basically fiberglass grinder guy. But, you know, Charlie Wiggins, Milt Wiggins, who bought my operation from last year, have done just an absolute wonderful job. They're very professional people. Dalton Industries stepped up and sponsored this boat. And I can't say enough about Cal Phipps. What a hard-charging driver, I'll tell you what. But it's great to be able to sell a boat to a quality family and be able to see it do so well out there. So thank you very much. Cal, talk to him here in a second.
We'll grab him in just a second, Steve. Back to you guys for now.
All right, it's great, and it's always great to see Nate Brown, and one of the true gentlemen in this sport, one of the great guys. There it is, the Dalton boat, as you're looking at the pictures, live from Chopper 7 coming in. So they acquit themselves well here in this Heat 2B, guys.
I think he went, in the morning I said he was kind of a poker player, but now I think he's a gunslinger. He went out there with the intention of winning that race.
Yep, absolutely, and this puts him in a pretty good position after 2 preliminary heats to get into the final. There are a couple of guys who need some real hard-charging points to get into the final. He's not one of them.
Let's check in with Chris Francis, who's got J. Michael Kelly, the second